Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 7th of January 2019. So welcome everyone, welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then guys, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is WTI. So WTI oil, looking at this, of course, finally we're having some sort of life, we're seeing some sort of life back in this commodity, and basically, long story short here guys, the commodity managed to break this downside resistance line taken from the highs of the 10th of October. Certainly, of course, this could be seen as a bit of a bullish sign, but still don't get your hopes up too soon. In order to kind of start considering much higher levels, well, we need to see a few resistance levels getting cleared first. Now, of course, from the short-term perspective, of course, this could potentially continue traveling further up here, especially if we're going to get a nice break above the 49.55 level, which is, as you can see here, act as a nice area of resistance on the 18th of December, and also held the price from dropping lower from the 28th of November, and like I said, up until the 17th of December. So quite an important level this one becomes, the 49.55. But if we do get a nice pop above this could be that gateway towards these slightly higher levels, where we could then aim initially for the 53.30 zone, approximately there, marked by the highs of the 13th of December, or even actually going higher here towards the 54.60 area, which was in a way the highest point of December. So of course, keep your eyes on down, but if we do get a nice move towards these areas, certainly be very careful, because it might hold again and we could see maybe another leg of selling here. But if these start getting broken, if the commodity starts moving above these levels, now this is where it could become more interesting from the long term for the bulls. From the long term perspective, we could see maybe a reversal back up here, and just to kind of tell you guys, I mean, at the moment, of course, it is quite oversold, and looking at our oscillators here underneath, you can see that it is trying to push higher. Of course, certainly they are pointing now to the upside. There is some potential to see some more upside, but again, we need to see certain confirmation breaks first before we start considering much higher levels. Certainly, of course, overall in the long term, if this continues to travel further up here, we could aim for this 200 EMA here, shown as the black line. We could see a retest of it, this time, of course, from underneath, as previously we saw this one getting tested from above. Only in October we got it broken here to the downside. So in a way, there are some good levels above, and there is, to be honest, some potential for this to move a little bit higher. But in order to kind of consider all these much higher levels here, first we need to see good breaks above the 54.60 level. But before that, we're just gonna keep it, we're just gonna take it slow and keep an eye on this 49.55 zone. As you can see, today it managed to already get close to that area, but wasn't able to break above that. So we're still going to continue monitoring it. The fact that, like I said, it's trading above this short-term downside resistance line now, so this of course adds a bit of a positive spin on the whole short-term outlook, and a nice good break above this 49.55 level could lead towards a retest of the 53.30 or even the 54.60 level. So keep your eyes on that one. On the downside, if this suddenly, let's say, reverses back down down and starts moving below this downside resistance line, certainly the bulls should be a bit more on the cautious side now. But if this decides to drop below the 44.45 area, 44, something like that, well, I mean, probably brace yourselves. We could see maybe a retest of the December lows, which were near the 42.40 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. But for now, of course, this is looking more positive than negative. But then again, we need to see this confirmation break here above the 49.55 level, and then only then we'll aim for much higher levels. Jumping into another commodity, or this time precious metal, which is platinum. Now looking at this, and I was talking about this one last week, basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this one because we were trading below this very short-term, in a way tentative downside resistance line taken from the highs of November last year now, and certainly you can see that on Friday we had a nice push, a very strong push here to the upside, managed to break some key areas of resistance. Of course, the first important one that I was talking about was the 808 level, managed to clear that easily and tested the 821 area, which was previously acted as a nice area of resistance here back on the 30th of November. Today, of course, we're seeing this trading activity above that level. We managed to also break the 826 zone approximately there. Of course, as you can see, the bears are now trying to push it back below it. Now, of course, if this is going to stay here, even though, let's put it that way, even though if it stays here below the 826 but stays above the 821, still this looks quite bullish, and we could maybe see this one traveling further up here maybe later on this week, and maybe retesting this short-term upside, or should I say more medium-term upside support line. But this time we could retest it from underneath, and also the retest could come near the 850 level. So in a way, a psychological 850 level. We're going to keep a close eye on that one. Just to also mention to you guys, just the level before that, before the 850, keep an eye on this little 200 EMA. I mean, we could initially see a test of it. Maybe the price could stall near that area, and if of course the buying momentum remains strong, yep, we could see further acceleration to the upside here. But probably initially keep your eyes on this little 200 EMA, just as a little pit stop that could happen here near this line. So yep, but for now, overall, long story short, guys, it is looking more bullish than bearish. But again, probably for now, for a even better confirmation of higher levels here, we would need to see a push, a nice good push above the 826 level, especially if we're going to get a nice close on the daily candle above that. But to be honest, even if it's not going to close above the 826, still the short-term outlook still kind of looks quite bullish. And even, let's say, if we get a nice retracement here a little bit back down, let's not exclude of course this opportunity, this possibility of seeing something like that. But if for example the price retraces back down, but if it fails to drop below the 808 level, this could be a good opportunity for the bulls to jump in here again and push this this commodity much higher again. So basically, guys, the moment, of course, this is looking more bullish than bearish. On the downside, for us to, let's say, start considering much lower levels in the near term, or even in the longer term, we probably need to wait until this drops below the 780 level, below these December lows, basically, and only then we'll probably get comfortable with targeting the 765 or even the 55 zones. So for now, guys, of course, like I said, it is looking quite positive. Let's see how this plays out. Let's see, keep an eye on the 826 level. A nice good push above that could send this this commodity, this precious metal, to retest this upside support line from underneath. So keep your eyes on that one. Jumping into a few pairs now. So USDCHF, now nice move to the downside here today, certainly testing this key important area of support near the 0.98 level. Of course, as you probably understand now, if this gets broken, further declines could be possible. Now, probably ignored this little area here. So what we're going to target here, a nice good close below the 0.98 level. could send this pair a little bit lower. And what I mean by a little bit is this little this medium term, or should I say maybe now a bit of a longer term upside support line taken from the lows of February last year. Now this could provide some sort of a support initially, if of course if the rate stalls around here, if the pair fails to drop below this upside support line, maybe we could see something like a rebound here and a push back up. But for now, of course, from the very short-term perspective, it seems that this pair wants to continue traveling lower. Of course, keep your eyes on this 0.9735 area, which also coincides here with this upside support line, and this basically could be a nice perfect area for the bulls to enter. Of course, if this struggles to overcome this upside support line, but if this line gets broken, then, well, I mean, we could see maybe further declines here to the downside. Of course, initially targeting the 0.97 level, or even going then lower, much lower. But for now, let's go step by step. Let's go. Let's not rush into things like that yet. Initially, let's aim for this 0.98 level and see, well, let's see how it's gonna where it's gonna close today, where this daily candle is gonna close. But to be honest, in general, it has a good likelihood for a move lower here, for a retest of this upside support line, this long-term upside support line. So keep your eyes on that one. It will be very interesting to see how this plays out in this week. Jumping into GBP Aussie, looking at this pair, looking at this daily chart. Of course, we had this nice spike here to the upside that probably some of you didn't like, let's put it that way. Yep, since then you can see that the pair is declining, it's pushing lower. Now it's currently kind of not far. It already kind of managed to almost test this key important area of support near the 178.20, from which it kind of rebounded back up here. So in a way, this puts us in something like a more of a neutral stand here for now. What we're going to keep on monitoring here is of course this 178.20 level. A nice good drop below this could send the pair towards the 177.30 or even lower. But for now, as you can see, we're having a nice rebound from this area, a nice push higher. I wouldn't say that we could travel now higher and continue pushing towards higher levels. So for us to kind of get comfortable with this one moving upwards, we need to see a few levels getting cleared first, because to be honest, it's better to be safe than sorry. So in a way, you could start looking at this level here at around 180, 190. I do understand it's quite far from where the price is right now, so that's why, for example, jumping into a 4-hour chart, you could in a way keep an eye on this little area here. So this is what I'm talking about. So this area around the 179.55, marked by the inside swing low here of the 2nd of January. So a nice good push above that level could potentially send the pair a little bit higher, and this is where we could then start targeting this 180, 190. But to be honest, there are some good potential little areas of resistance that kind of in a way could put that stick into your wheel and your bicycle wheel, and kind of could trip you in a way. So that's why I'd be very cautious with this pair. It certainly does provide good trading opportunities, but if, let's say, this moves above the 179.55 level, and if you're, for example, in profit already, just probably the small suggestion would be quickly shift your stop loss just above that price, because just in order to break even. Because if, let's say, this suddenly reverses back down, and we do know that this pair can create some sort of like tricks like that, and can play some sort of tricks like that on us. So in a way, you could this way protect yourself, because if this suddenly starts dropping heavily, probably it will end up moving much lower. But that's why, guys, be very cautious with this pair. From the very short-term perspective, in a way, you could try maybe something like this. this, an idea like that, where the 179.55 level could be that nice potential area for an entry. But again, for such a trade, you would need to have a very tight stop loss, guys. So that's why probably don't risk it too much, and be very safe with this pair. For those who are, like I said, more on the cautious side, you could in a way wait until this drives towards the 180-190 level, and then we could take it from there. Maybe this could open the path towards these slightly higher levels, like the 184 level and above. But for now, to be honest, it seems that this little short-term move upwards could be just seen as a little correction before another leg of selling. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's NZDUSD. Looking at this daily chart. Now this is probably a better picture, so a nice, good, positive picture, I would say. Certainly you can see that on the 3rd of January it managed to test this short-term or upside support line taken from the lows of the 8th of October, and from there onwards it kind of continued moving higher. Now today it's testing this little short-term tentative, of course, downside resistance line taken from the highs of December. In a way, of course, you're seeing that it's getting a nice break here today. The only problem is that the break is not that strong, and in a way, for us to get more comfortable with higher levels, we'd probably need to see this one driving above the 0.6775 level, and only then we'll start targeting the 0.6118, 20 zone, or even actually going a little bit higher. But for now, judging by the picture that we're seeing, this could, in a way, it has an equal chance of maybe closing the daily candle just below this downside resistance line. And if we do see a close below that, then maybe we could see a reversal back down here, a drop towards this upside support line, this the short-term upside support line. This could get tested once again. So for now, guys, we keep on monitoring this little downside resistance line, and especially this 0.6775 level. Nice good pop above this could open the path towards higher levels, but until we see that move above this, we're just gonna continue. Well, we're just gonna stay neutral on this one, to be honest, and just continue observing the price action. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. And just to kind of let you know that until the end of this week, there won't be any Traders Espressos or Traders Tea Time videos. So we will resume on Monday next week. So yep, I hope you have a fantastic trading week, guys. And I'll see you then next Monday. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Bye bye.